Hello, this is my tutorial on how to use Google Calendar. Well, how I set it up at least to help benefit me, whether it's doing schedules for work or practices or scheduling homework. This really helps me a lot, and I can connect it through my other devices so I can see it whenever. Usually, when you start out Google Calendar, you have it set to week. I usually like to set it to month. It's much easier to organize it that way. Okay, so to begin with, we have our list of calendars here, which is what you can use to organize, basically. These are usually the common ones and pop up a lot. I do not like tasks, so I don't use this often. Oh, let me do that. Okay, this is a more personal one related to your account. This is, like it says, contacts, so I usually turn all these off because you don't really need those. Holidays you can keep because they're holidays. So what you want to do is let's start off with creating another calendar. Each calendar has their own think think of it as a group, subsets, right? You have your main calendar here, which has overall function. However, you can create new calendars to focus on specific tasks. So we can go here and we can click create new calendar. Let's name this homework, right? You can add a little description. Uh, School homework. Whatever you can name it, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Okay. So after you create the calendar, it'll show up here, homework. Now, when you highlight any of these calendars and you click create new and you want to add something, it's gonna show up on these specific calendars. However, you can also do other things like when you create an event, you can actually select which calendar you want for it to go on. So it doesn't necessarily have to be you have to you don't necessarily have to have this turned on. You can just select from here. So let's add another calendar so we can show how we can differentiate between two different schedules. So let's say I have a work schedule, right? Papa Pizzeria. I'm a working student and I want to make a calendar for both my work and my wait, it's not done yet. For my work and my schoolwork. First, we gotta explain what each of these three things mean. An event is what it means. You schedule an event. A task is a short little thing. I don't really like using tasks. I mean, you can use them to. It's kind of like reminders, and you can just check them off, tell you when they're done. Appointment schedule. That's self-explanatory. I usually just like using events, but if you want to find more simpler things, like if you have something you want to do that day, tasks is usually the way to go. It's much easier, and it can show up on your calendar just as well as events. But for big things like homework titles and stuff like that, or appointments or stuff like that, I usually use events. So for an event, to set up how an events work is you have a title, you do the title, and you have this time. For the time, it gets confusing sometimes. If you want the whole day, like say you're gonna be gone the whole day and you want to select the whole day, click all day. That highlights it in complete color, whichever color you picked. This just shows that it's going to be a whole day thing. However, if you want a specific time, you just click these two time frames and you select it from say 8:45 to 10:45. That's how long it's going to be. And here's a really cool part. The repeat function allows you to do a lot more. So say if you have a repeating schedule where I have practices on every Wednesday, then you can put weekly on Wednesday. So every week on Wednesday, it's gonna show up. And to edit this, all we have to do is we click here and we can delete event, and you can delete this, just that event, this, and all the events in the front, or all events. And now we're just going to create and delete all events. So we're going to create a new event again, and we're going to explain how more about this repeat function. So the custom, this really helps out a lot. You're going to have to play around to really understand what it means, But like I said, if you have practices on these days, let's say that you repeat every week, so once a week it's gonna happen that like that. This is just the date. It's not worrying about time. So it's let's say it ends in 25th of October. Okay. And then it's from 5 to 10. So every week, every week you're gonna have to show up like that. And you can always, like again, select what to delete, what you don't want to delete. Okay. So the way it works with adding another schedule is by creating another event, and this time, hey, I want to focus on my work schedule. So we just click work, and we can select different colors. You have all these. This isn't really, you don't have to worry about this too much. Doesn't matter. This one is just, privacy reasons. This one, it doesn't really matter what you select for that one. You can do reminders too and set how long you want to remind yourself for, like a day before or whatever, 5 minutes before. You can also add descriptions, and these are very focused. What I usually like to do when I do schoolwork is I usually describe well, I usually do a class and go, I say a push, and then I say what I need to do for the week, and I just type in, you know, um, written assignment, uh, reading pages 3 to 10, and then I just do that. You can also add attachments if you need to, but usually writing it out is just much easier. Um, for a work schedule, let's just say, yeah, so we're gonna focus on work. It's the same concept when setting up another event. You're gonna have these two. So you have these two. You have the work and the homework. So if I want to show, hey, I'm just want to focus on what my work schedule looks like, you just take off that check mark, and now it only shows you your work schedule. Put it back on, shows you everything. There's not much to it. Another cool thing I want to show is the repeating thing, but more extended. So say you have something that's going from two long dates, you can extend it by using the dates. You can still unselect all day. You can still pick the specific times. So it's really easy to use. If you have any more questions, let me know. I can help you out with whatever you need specifically. But that's how I set up my things. If you have a specific way, you can play around and stuff like that. I don't really like using tasks because, well, I haven't used it too often, but I think it would be beneficial if you just have something quick and it's not like permanent. I don't know, I'm not explaining it right, but use tasks for small things like, hey, I need to do my laundry this day. I'll do laundry. So I'll just set up a new task. Laundry. Just say, let's do it on Friday. And when you're done with the task, I think you can just mark it as complete. So you're done with that. For assignments, I usually like to start with events because tasks are just, it's a lot. I mean, you can add descriptions too with tasks, so it could work easier. So really, whatever works for you. Um, maybe tasks might work better for like homework wise. You can say like uh JPEG, or it's a class into like uh, make image, edit image. Once you're done with that, you can just shut it off. That's it. So there's not much to it. And if you need more help, just let me know.